Hey, this is Becko, and we got to catch up with Paul Stanley from Kiss. They are ready for their final lap of the world, the end of the road tour. This is going to be the biggest gig of the year, and a band who have just done it all. They've seen it all. They've sold over 80 million albums, and this is their final chance to say goodbye. And Paul says they're really pumped about it. They're also excited because they feel like they're going out at the right time.
Now, when you started off in the early 70s too, you were opening for other bands. You must have been and completely blowing them away. And you would have had crowds turning up, looking at these guys up on stage, wearing makeup and platforms and just laughing
Mm.
at you. But at the end of the set, they would have been cheering for you.
Yeah, certainly there were small pockets in the country where we had a cult following, but overall, I would say there were many, many places we would play where, look, honestly, I can remember doing a run of shows with a British band, and the first time they saw us walk out of our dressing room, and I don't hold a grudge. They just burst out laughing.
Yeah.
They just thought it was the funniest thing. They weren't laughing after half the audience left when we were done. So, we've always had a cause. We've always had a feeling of commitment to go out there and deliver the goods. So that's never changed.
And you had famously also bands going on tour with you who you'd given a leg up to. ACDC would be our most famous one. And you took
Akadaka.
Akadaka with Bon Scott up front. This would have been probably the about 75 or 76, maybe 77, but it would have been just so good to have this band with you
Yeah.
and see them grow throughout the years.
They were phenomenal. Look, they've always been. Now they're legendary. Certainly that was the beginning for them, but it was ridiculous. I mean, greatness is always um, apparent, even in its early incarnations, and they they were just balls to the wall. I mean, it was just amazing. But we have a pretty good track record from ACDC to Judas Priest to Motley Crue to Tom Petty to John Cougar Mellencamp. The list is Motley Crue,
Yeah.
Bon Jovi. The list, we've done pretty well. And we've always tried to have bands with us that we wanted to support in helping them get an audience, and then the rest is up to them. I've always thought, we can put you in the arena, but thumbs up or thumbs down is going to come from what you do. And there are some bands who just came through like gangbusters.
And you got bands who also have said they've taken on, they've looked up to you. Like, I think Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters said that. He loved Kiss growing up. You were his favorite band. And now you're seeing Dave Grohl become this megastar that he is now as well.
He is indeed a more than a triple threat because I mean, with Dave, it's so interesting because the idea of the drummer in a band coming to the front and arguably becoming bigger than the band that he drummed for. I mean,
Yeah.
certainly Nirvana was a game changer, but look what Dave has done. It's just phenomenal. So I tend not to point to other bands and say, you see, they were influenced by us. But I'm always very happy when somebody else acknowledges that, and much better for them to do it than for me to do it.
Now, looking at a set list for Australia particularly, but obviously looking for the next couple of years on a tour. I mean, do you have songs like "I Was Made for Loving You" that were huge hits in Australia, but they weren't? It wasn't quite as big a hit in America though. So when you play that here in Australia, it's massive.
I just kicked the table.
That's all right.
I Was Made for Loving You was a massive hit worldwide.
Yeah.
So that's a song that is common in terms of its magnitude. Shandy, on the other hand, was a massive hit in Australia, and not necessarily uh, elsewhere, to that degree. So, to me, Shandy is almost synonymous with all of you over there, and my memories and everything that I have and I hold dear about my visits to your shores are, it's priceless. I mean, I truly don't think that some of you realize how amazing your country is, but I will tell you it is.
And it's all the combinations. We have great crowds. We have beautiful people. When normally when you come in, you'd be jumping on a harbour cruise and you'd be having drinks on the harbour. I mean, your first tour must have been just amazing to land in Sydney and be able to explore for a little bit. And you would have
Hmm.
been
It was
partying as well.
well, one of the interesting things about the first tour, which was uh, noted to be Hysteria, and it was the front page of all the newspapers basically every day. I mean, whatever we did was front page news. So it was pretty amazing for us. When we left our country and would go places and see how massive we were in other countries, and quite honestly, at that point, um, we didn't know that much about your country. There were people who thought you had kangaroos hopping down the street. And it was. I mean, to come there was such a, a wonderful culture shock because, first of all, the we were embraced so massively by your audiences, and there were so many parties. I mean, we
Mm.
couldn't go anywhere, honestly. So there would be parties thrown for us every night, and it really reached a point where I was like, please, no party tonight. But lo and behold, there was a party, and I went. It's always been magnificent. The people, um, the food is incredible. I mean, what can you find bad about Sydney or Melbourne or Perth, Perth or Adelaide, Brisbane? It's magical. To me, it's just magical. That first tour, I seriously considered, that I could live there, but I
Still time.
had
It's still time. Yeah,
other obligations.
it's a 14-hour flight. Actually, LA to Sydney is actually pretty good time zone. Like I've got friends who I still ring up, and it's not too bad if you can deal with 14 hours in a plane. But right now, crossing borders is very, very difficult. That's why I'm so grateful that this is actually happening in November. And what do you want to say to those fans who are just about to come out and see you and say farewell to this amazing band?
Just that when we hit the stage, we leave it all on the stage. We have so much to be grateful for to you, and we really want to really wrap this up in a way that we put the bow on the present, and then we blow it up. It's it's really a very special time for us, and I can't say enough. Australia's been magical for us, for me, and I've had so many great times, relationships. It just goes on. So this is special for us. I don't want to say bittersweet because that's kind of corny to me, but I couldn't be more grateful, and I know we intend to make sure that everyone understands just how much you mean to us.
Well, it's not that long away. We're 6 months away, and Paul, for one last time, we'll be touring Australia for the end of the road tour, and we can't wait for Kiss. Thanks so much for your time.
Oh, my pleasure.
See you soon. Take care.
Thank you.